social media is a significant part of our society. According to PewResearch.org, almost 70% of Americans use some type of social media, and that is most of our nation, which makes one wonder, how does it affect people? Some will say it's a positive effect, others will say it's a negative effect. I can say it may have benefits, but social media as a whole is a very negative part of our society. I am sure many of you listening today have social media, and I challenge you to think how it has affected your life and how it would be different if your social media were limited or you didn't have it at all. Today we will discuss the negative impact social media has had on our society, a possible way to resolve the issues that it causes, how limiting social media would improve the issue, and how you can improve your social media use personally. Social media is a continuously growing industry, and with it, the necessity for it seems to have an impact on our society as well. And there is some good social media. Like businesses will use social media to advertise their products or services. And it can, under regulation, be good for stress release from a long day. And although there is good, people tend to look past the damage it has caused. People will scroll endlessly through their phone daily, which is designed by an algorithm to keep you hooked. And according to APA.org, this can cause a phenomenon which is called social displacement. The National Library of Medicine defines social displacement as the proposition that time spent on social media replaces time spent face-to-face, particularly with close friends and family, and thus reducing social well-being. Teenagers are affected the most because we still have our developing brains. Teens exhibited poor mental health through depression and anxiety as a result of social media overuse. According to YaleMedicine.org, it is apparent because of what they view, such as the fake lives of social media influencers or just other content in general that they view. Their already affected poor mental state is worsened by the algorithm that triggers a cognitive response which deepens the issue. The article also mentioned that content they view affected their state of mind. Extreme behavior was ingrained into their brains from the content, such as self-harm related content or high-risk activities. Now that we know the negative impact it has, what can be done to resolve the issue? We can observe that the root issue is overuse of social media, especially in teens, and it can be prevented by certain limits. A way to help this issue is to put time limit restrictions on your social media. And it would be good to keep yourself accountable through these time limits. And if you don't think you can be accountable yourself, have somebody you trust put a password on your phone so you cannot override those limits. Some platforms have already began to implement parental controls for the social media. This restricts access to explicit and questionable content, and it can prevent previously mentioned unlimited access. The option to limit daily use is also on these parental controls, and ultimately, when in place, these parental controls are there to prevent future hardships. Limiting social media use can significantly improve the issues that have been in place. Like I've already mentioned, complete freedom is a primary issue for poor mental health in teens. Age restrictions on social media can help eliminate the ability to access virtually anything on social media. These limits encourage a social life for the teenager, which in turn will help to eliminate depression in many cases. Another way, in general, is for the social media platforms to clean out explicit and questionable results. This would keep the social media user-friendly for both teens and adults, and it would limit exposure to impurity for younger users. Considering what I have told you now, I challenge you to improve your own personal social media usage. The best way to improve is through social media fasting. Social media fasting is where you go for a period of time without using your social media. Harvard Summer School says that a time detox, that people who have used time to detox have experienced many advantages, like better sleep and improved state of mind. To implement personal limits would also help. For one thing, you could implement the time limits that we have already discussed. It may help to have an accountability partner if you're using time limits. And I would also challenge you to strive to watch the time you spend on your social media. Put your phone down after a set amount of time and enjoy your free time with your friends and family. Today, I hope I have challenged you to take a stand and improve your social media usage. We have discussed the growing impact of social media, a way to prevent the negative problems that are associated with it, that the way that limiting social media use helps improve these problems, and a way for you to apply these things to your life. Remember, 70% of Americans have social media. The growing impact has drastically caused a mental health decline in our nation, specifically in teens. Think of the personal effect that social media has had on you, and take action to improve. Find ways to limit your social media and see how your life improves.